Martin Luther King Jr., not to be confused with Martin Luther, the Protestant Reformation leader, was a prominent civil rights activist and leader in the United States. His life and work are an inspiration to millions around the world. Here is a motivational story of Martin Luther King Jr. in the heart of the American South. During the 1950s and 1960s, racial segregation was deeply entrenched, and African Americans faced discrimination and oppression in every aspect of their lives. Amidst this turmoil, a young Baptist minister named Martin Luther King Jr. emerged as a beacon of hope and a driving force for change. Martin was born on January 15, 1929, in Atlanta, Georgia, into a family of preachers. His father and grandfather instilled in him a deep sense of faith and the belief in fighting for justice. From an early age, Martin was keenly aware of the racial injustices around him. As he grew older, he witnessed firsthand the inequality and segregation that plagued society. With a desire to bring about positive change, Martin dedicated himself to education, earning a Ph.D. in theology. He became a pastor and began leading a small congregation in Montgomery, Alabama. It was in Montgomery that the civil rights movement would find its voice through Martin's inspirational leadership. The tipping point came in 1955 when Rosa Parks, an African-American woman, refused to give up her seat to a white passenger on a segregated bus. Her act of defiance sparked a citywide bus boycott, led by Martin Luther King Jr. The boycott was a massive success, lasting for over a year and ultimately leading to a Supreme Court ruling that declared segregated buses unconstitutional. This victory only served as the beginning of Martin's journey. He went on to co-found the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, SCLC, an organization dedicated to nonviolent resistance and civil rights reform, inspired by Mahatma Gandhi's principles of nonviolence. Martin advocated for peaceful protests, civil disobedience, and the power of love to overcome hatred through his speeches, marches, and acts of civil disobedience. Martin Luther King Jr. captured the hearts and minds of people across the nation and beyond. His most iconic speech, "I Have a Dream," delivered on August 28, 1963, during the March on Washington, remains one of the most powerful and influential speeches in history. In it, he shared his vision of a future where people would not be judged by the color of their skin but by the content of their character. Despite facing numerous threats, arrests, and violence, Martin remained steadfast in his commitment to justice and equality. His courage and resilience in the face of adversity inspired countless individuals to join the fight for civil rights. On April 4, 1968, Martin Luther King Jr. was tragically assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee. His untimely death shook the nation and the world. However, his legacy and vision lived on, igniting a continued push for equality and social justice. Martin Luther King Jr. demonstrated that one person's dedication and belief in the power of nonviolence and love could transform the world. His life serves as a reminder that the struggle for justice is ongoing, and it is the collective responsibility of all people to stand up against injustice, bigotry, and hatred. His story continues to motivate and inspire generations to work together for a brighter, more inclusive future.